Okay, in this video, I am going to be discussing the erosion of New York State. This is the general shape of New York right in here. And the first thing that really pops out to the eye are these parallel ruts that are now filled with water in our lakes. And that's an easy indication of sheet water flow, since we know sheet water flow has parallel streams according to the law of laminar flow. And are these dammed up on this side? Is this dammed up? Or is this looks like the natural, it ends here naturally. So we've got a big river rut that abruptly ends. And the reason why it's able to end like this without any stream or any other thing here is because this was a massive river channel that had an undulating force where it dove under right here and formed this long scour and was very powerful and dug deeply. And then it came up here. Maybe is this dammed up? Looks pretty natural there too. And then you've got a river leading into it. Very straight edge, and then you can see the channel continues, right? The clear channel banks continue. But when it hits the lake, that's when it's undercut. So on this side, the channel continues, but it's not undercut. And it's not too hard to start finding streamlined shapes, which is a very good feature to confirm that we're talking about sheet water flow. Here's another big one. Streamlined shape. Go over here, streamlined shape. Streamlined shape. Because normally it would actually be the opposite. In a normal watershed, for example, over here, this is the mainstream and the tributaries funnel into the mainstream on either side. And that's what's called the herringbone watershed, which is very common. And you've got more tributaries and then a bigger mainstream, right? That's the normal way. But when we go here and it flowed this way, instead of the tributaries adding to it, it's subtracting. We're getting a subtraction of a tributary. So that's what scientists would call a barbed tributary. And but in actuality, it's a streamlined feature. So we get all these streamlined features here. And when we zoom in, we can actually see river terraces, right? Just like what we'd find in, Montana around Lake Missoula, or in Washington or Lake Bonneville, right? All of these lakeshore lines indicate water level, and these are river terraces from the river that wrapped around here. You see this guy here? There's a little mark there. Okay, and this whole area, if you look closely, you'll find stuff in this entire area. But yeah, another streamlined feature. Let's check out this one here. So a very straight river channel. Goes right into, it's got a straight scarp edge, and it's got a river right in the center of that scarp edge. That's textbook stuff. That's what the Monterey Bay looks like. Here you got some more square ones, right, where they're a little offset. Where this was the channel here, shows you a little bit of the channel width here. And then you get some, more channels. Get some insight off of those. And let's see what we find on this guy. Find some terraces. We can see the texture. But I want to show you some really cool terraces in New York State. So let's follow the river to find the terraces. So we can see that this landmass here has kind of been cut out and streamlined from water coming from here, around it this way, and around it this way. So this has kind of been carved out. We look at it on a digital map or a topographical map. We can see St. Lawrence River kind of carve this guy out. And when we look here, we can see terraces as well. Clear cliff edge here, terrace, cliff edge here, terrace. This is underwater, and then a cliff edge underwater. So that's 3 terrace steps right there. But let's check out this right here, this path right here. And coming around here, there's a lot of cool features here. So first we can see that all these, ruts are very channeled, clearly from water, not from a heavy ice sheet, right? Because an ice sheet is like a snowshoe because it's got so much surface area. But water, moving water, is like skis because it's got laminar flow and it can carve ruts. So that's the 2 main differences. But let's check out this area here. And this spot right here has some really cool stuff. So let's check it out. So let's go into our little channel here. Follow our channel. Now this is the cool spot here. So let's zoom in to the channel first. Amazing streamlined features in this channel. All of these puppies are streamlined. Streamlined, streamlined. This one's streamlined. And we're getting into some more rutted out terrain now. And can't help but to see some really sweet terraces all the way up this hillside. This whole little mountain range is terraced. So when we go, so let's say we're over here and we're looking at this and we see these ruts. Now we're basically in drumlin country. These are basically drumlin fields. And they wrap around, from the curving path of the river. And when you follow these, rutted out drumlins, you follow them right up the hillside. And then they become seamlessly involved with the terraces that carve all the way up here. So all of these terraces are seamless, right? Look at this. This is perfect terracing. This is something you would find in Oregon, Washington, Montana, Idaho. And it fit, I showed you how it fit perfectly with the channels of drumlin country. So now we're up here, look at this, you can see these terraces. Now I measured the distance from this, the vertical distance from this to our drumlin ruts, and it was 2,900 feet in elevation change. So we're talking about water carving an area from 25 feet or 29,000 feet in elevation all the way down to drumlins. And drumlins are textbook for high-speed water erosion. Not just water erosion, but high-speed water erosion. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you Kelleys Island, and I'm going to show you some spots in Ontario that have extreme high-speed water erosion. They've got streamlined features, and they've got all sorts of amazing stuff, even something called fluvial plucking. Look at this. Okay, so this entire mountain range here is terraced. Let's check out this. Oh, this is terraced too. Yeah, so it's all terraced around here. Every single line is from a water level. Okay. So I suggest if you're a New Yorker, I'd go hike these mountains and go check out the terraces for yourself. So let's talk about glacier polish for a second. This is in New York City. Actually, I don't know if it's New York City, but it's in New York. These right here are officially glacier striations. So an ice sheet brought boulders, and the boulders from the ice sheet carved each of these ruts. Okay, that's impossible. If that happened with a rock, it wouldn't be perfectly smooth and U-shaped and polished. These are parallel ruts from laminar flow, and only a fluid can focus a rut. A solid object like ice is not going to focus a rut and make it U-shaped and polished. It's just you have no understanding of fluid dynamics if that's what you think a solid object is going to do. Now let's go to Kelleys Island. This is in Ohio, but it's important. It's important to understanding this region. So this is Kelleys Island right here. You can see that this piece right here is part of a cataract feature. But let's zoom in here. If my calculations are correct, this should be here. This is a spot. This is one of the best locations in the entire world for glacier polish and understanding how glacier polish has nothing to do with glaciers. Okay, right here we can see this is a U-shaped cataract made by water flow, made from a waterfall. Very flat terrace here. It looks like another terrace step here. And then on the other side of this cataract is the glacier polish strip. Now I found a sick video on YouTube. All right, so you can see the cataract and how flat it is, right? And there's the strip of glacier polish to the left of the screen. Now look at this polish and you tell me if it has anything to do with ice or not. Oh man, what's going on? Okay, look at the rutting of this. They will look you straight in the face and say that's from a glacier. That's from a solid object. All right, let's go back. That was a really good shot right there. Okay, look at how streamlined this is, right? This has nothing to do with a solid object. Has only all these streamlined and curving shapes and rutting shapes. This is all from high-speed water flow. Not just a water flow, high-speed water flow. This water was going scary fast when it created this. Okay, so this little channel of water just ripped right through that bedrock. I believe it's limestone, which is somewhat soft, which is why it was able to be preserve this. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's limestone though. Marblehead, I don't know. Yeah, this video is really sick. So, oh yeah, look at this. Look at how deep that rut is. And then look at how when this rut hits this obstacle, it flows around this way and then flows around this way. Okay. All of this rutting, it's right here, it's wall riding. This is something, it's an unofficial term, but I've seen it all over the world. It's something that high-speed water can do is it wall rides. It can actually, it's not a level stream, but it'll go up and you get an upwards carve in the rock or in a mountain even. So yeah, all these are streamlined. All of this is rutted, nothing to do with glaciers. I'm actually going to change my mind. I'm going to discuss the glacier polish and the high-speed water features of Ontario in a separate video since I want to do it justice, and I'm going to compare it with this location again. But yeah, this video is fantastic. Shout out to Drone, Ohio for the video. It's a great spot. You know, all streamlined. You know, and then so this helps us tell the current direction because the streamlined features face into the current, right? This being the front of the feature faces into the current. So when we go here, we're actually seeing that the water didn't go this way. The water went this way, right? Which isn't downhill. It has nothing to do with elevation change because we're talking about high-speed catastrophic water erosion. So actually getting a water direction that's going like this. Okay, and when we go up here, this area here, it's kind of hard to see. These are part of a feature they call moraines, right? But it's Also extremely physically possible for them to be accretion ridges or pushed sediment lobes. And I'll use topographical map to show you that they actually indicate more of a sediment lobe and accretion ridge formation than a moraine from an ice sheet, as well as with other so-called moraines that are in this area, very shallow, hard to see. But if it was from an ice sheet 2 miles thick, they wouldn't be so hard to see and so flat. So one thing to think about is imagine there was a 2 mile thick ice sheet right here, and it bulldozed across North America. I mean, wouldn't you expect to find at least a mile thick uh, wall of moraine? Well, that's nowhere to be found. Instead, we find massive river channels everywhere. And all right, that's going to conclude it for this video. This is the river channel I was talking about. Look at this puppy. 68 miles wide. That was pretty decent. No moraine cutting across it. Don't know where the moraines went. And then this is also streamlined just like Kelleys Island, right? So imagine the water was coming through here, bounces around it, the obstacle, and that's why this river runs around it in a circular shape. And then you get this, trough here. You get this scour, and this whole landscape is severely scoured, full of indications of water turbulence, right? So if you find sheet water flow, that's an indication of low water turbulence. Or if you find drumlins, that's an indication of low water turbulence. But when you find scoured landscape, this is an indication of a lot of turbulence. Right, it's a lot of water turbulence. And then you can go to this one. This is also streamlined. This big boy here is a streamlined one. You got the main stream coming here, hits the obstacle, and is deformed around it. And then you can just kind of go downhill and get the whole picture. Then this is a cliff edge. Get the width 58 or 55 miles wide. This river channel came through here. Then you got the really wide one here. And this over here. Let me just go to the digital elevation real quick since I got it up. So you can see what I'm talking about. Look at that beauty. Right, so on Google Earth you can barely see it, but this is like 70 mile wide right here. And then you get the streamlined features. So yeah, when you go to topographical map, then you start to see things. This was a mega river, mega stream. But again, where's the mega moraine? Right, I'm supposed to find a mile thick wall somewhere around here, and no one can find it. And that's why it's, people say it's the Ice Age controversy. Scientists will say the one thing we can't find is the moraine walls. So that's the Ice Age controversy. And these are the accretion ridges and sediment lobes I was talking about that are extremely shallow. These are exactly shaped just like sediment lobes. All right, that's it. Goodbye. Oh, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell everyone you know. Thank you. Goodbye.